Work is probably the most important aspect of your life. So in this session, I'll be talking about work. I'll be talking about different types of work, and I think it's only normal or it's only fitting that I'll be talking in work in a work trip. I'm actually working right now, and obviously I'm right now in a hotel room and I'm about to sleep. But the point that I'm really making here is I really want to talk about work, how has actually changed my life. And I'm not only talking about corporate work or academic work or college work, I'm talking about work in general, all types of work. So, the how I will do it, I'm going to give stories of entrepreneurs and big people, big books that talk about it. Also, give first hand experience of periods where that actually screwed me up. And also give first hand experience of work, how it actually saved my life and made me successful in a certain way. Now, obviously, work is one of the biggest aspects of life, and I like this quote from Andrew Tate. Actually, he says, "I work because work works," and that's pretty true. When you think about it, the reason why you work or everybody works because actually work works, and that's why a lot of people that actually succeed are almost obsessed with just working and working and working more and working even more and working even more. So this always gets you to the point of asking like how much do I need to work and how much work do I need to do, etc. But that is not actually the case. Now let's talk about big people like let's say Elon Musk. Elon Musk is famously known for his 120 hours of work a week. So 120 hours work week is a lot. It's pretty much very a lot. But also to his standards, however, it's not really that a lot, which also what sort of weighs everything together. Now, to a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs that succeed also have this trait that they work 11 hours, 12 hours, 10 hours. And I'm pretty sure if you tried it, it's actually pretty hard. And this is where I get to the first experience with me, which is whenever I go through these hard works, when I go through these hard periods where I'm just working a lot, I it's not as if the quality drops down, but you can't really do it every day, right? And or at least that's what I thought. Now, the trick of actually doing it is not only in the work, but also outside of the work. Is what you eat, do you train, what you drink, etc. So all of those are components that you add up to make the work actually works. So you are able to actually perform the work, to actually work those long hours. Now this got me thinking a little bit and asking myself, well, what's the difference between different people, right? What's the difference in what makes other people actually do more work or love more work and others don't really do? So when you think of work from a first-hand experience, actually work is a beautiful definition made by Elon Musk as well in his last interviews, and he talks about the goal of entrepreneurs. Is it the goal of entrepreneurs or entrepreneurship or the people who really want to make it whatever young or you can fill in the gap? He said, learn how to create more value than what you consume. What you create has to be more or has to be worth more than what you consume. And this got me thinking a lot, right? Obviously, I've written it in my whiteboard in my room. I've seen it for every day for 3 days or so. And until now, I still think about it a lot. Is how can you do such a thing? How can you actually perform or create a value that is greater than what you consume? Because when you think of it into the nitty gritty, into everything, into everyday life, it's actually pretty hard to figure that out. If we're talking about food, like how do I know what food to eat, or it's just a hard equation, which I think why it is important. And I was talking to one of my friends, he's actually from the US, Mississippi or Connecticut. He actually was talking about it, and he said, look, there is a reason why it's hard. It's not supposed to be easily understood. And that got me thinking even more. And I think it's true. So let's break this down, okay? So creating more value than we consume, meaning whatever you get, you consume, you provide something. And this what gets a lot of people to actually love business or go away from business. So one last definition that I found out in the last few days, or at least got reminded of from my personal own experience, is business or making money is simply adopting other people's stress. The more stress you can adopt, the more money you can make. And the reason why I thought about it is because I was obviously making my own thesis. And while making my own thesis, I was a little bit stressed, I'm not gonna lie, the past few days. Today was my graduation or presentation thesis day. And obviously, I still got the first in the class and still got 18.5 out of 20 because I'm built different. But really, I got stressed a little bit, and I was even thinking to myself, I said, if I am stressed, how other people are actually doing, you know? Which obviously gets you thinking a little bit, and you think this and you think that. But also I remembered how valuable is my service, because obviously in the past 3 years I had a service of actually helping other people who have theses to make the thesis for them, or to make parts of it, or to help them, whatever. And obviously they pay me in return, right, as an exchange for it. And I think this specific first-hand experience have just made me realize how much stress they have and how much actually I relieve it from them. Because when I am actually doing the work for other people, I don't feel as much stress, or at least not in that certain way. I feel the stress of business, I feel the stress of money, I feel the stress of negotiating and having money and closing and delivering, but not really the stress of you have a professor on your head that's waiting for you and wants this and wants that, or you don't know, you live with the uncertainties. I think that's the type of stress that people actually sell for. And let alone, I'm actually even used to the stress. So, making money or succeeding or whatever, you have to adopt other people's stress. And that's what we call also work. And this is why work is stressful, because you adopt other people's stress. I mean, think about it. Give me any example, bruv. A butcher. Okay, what a butcher does, he gets in an animal, he slaughters it, and he just divides the meats, he makes it into pieces, whatever, and he gives it to you. Whatever you want. A thigh, he gives it to you. A neck, he gives it to you. A liver, he gives it to you. Boneless, he gives it to you. With bones, he gives it to you. Rib, he's gonna give you ribs. So that's stress. Because if you were to actually do it on yourself, it would be a lot stressful. I mean, if you've ever slaughtered a sheep and went through the process of actually eating it, it's a lot of work. You have to slaughter and you have to go through all that process, and you're probably unexperienced, and it will take you at least a full day. Right? But he actually does it because he's a professional. And the point is here is not about his being a professional, but it's the amount of stress that is actually saving you. And even food, man. I mean, you get bread. I don't want to even get into that details that people talk about, but you see, if you want to just cook bread, I'm not going to talk about the ingredients and how they come from different countries, because that's another story. But just cook bread, it takes you about 1 hour, bruv, or 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes if you want to really cook a lot of bread. But you go outside, $1 gets you 10 slices of bread. So you're pretty much very good to just buy it. And that's work. So work in simple ways, you're adopting other people's stress. And there's other definitions as well, as if you're buying people time. As an example, if someone is a businessman and he doesn't have time to do a specific task, and you do it for him, in that specific scenario, you're actually saving him time, which is more valuable to him. Now, in other scenarios, obviously that is a little bit different. Cool. Let's go even further. Right? Let's go even further. So let's give a bit of a books that I've read, because I read a lot of books. I think one of the best books, I think personally, they talk about work and being humble to do the work more than the work itself, is The Richest Man in Babylon. The reason why I've chosen this book amongst all the, man, I've read the what it's called, the 100 Rules of the CEO. What's that called? The Diary of a CEO. Yeah, The Diary of a CEO. I've read that. That is also pretty good for actually working and understanding the work ethics. I mean, I read the biography of Elon Musk as well, and I've read the biography of others. But still, The Richest Man in Babylon actually stands out when it comes to work because there's a specific chapter, or a lot of chapters actually, he talks about how he actually has made the money. So the richest man in Babylon is a man who is the richest man in Babylon, which is a city or a world. And he was talking how he was actually almost like a slave. He wasn't a slave, but he was almost a slave. So he was working day in, day out. And he actually looked at his friends and he saw that some of them actually made more money. And when he actually realized that they work more than him, more hours than him, and faster or whatever. So what he decided to is actually work more hours. And he explained it even, in easier ways. The easiest way to make more money is to work more hours. And the reason why I love this book, especially when it comes to this, because it's humble. It's not the type of book that you think it's egoistic or egotistical, or it's placed to your egos and, oh no, but why I don't want to do this work, I have to work in a corporate job. No, he talks about brick makers, he talks about sandal makers, he talks about, I don't remember, but it was a world that it's not modern. It's not, oh, I have to be a CEO or CFO or else I wouldn't work. And obviously it helps you also to be humble, to work for other people. I mean, if you don't even know that, then fuck's sake, you're wrecked. So there's that part. I mean, other books that actually talk about it is The Diary of a CEO as well. He talks about it and he talks about his story. I mean, he has a podcast as well called The Diary of a CEO. And he says, actually working a lot is one of the only reasons why I have actually made, the millions of dollars that I've actually made, especially the first few ones. Because work is such an easy leverage to have on other people. I would even give other examples, which will be even more beautiful of an example, which is the example of Michael Phillips. If you don't know Michael Phillips is, probably you do, but if you don't, he's probably arguably the best athlete ever of all time. He won 8 medals, gold medals, in 2008. We're talking Olympic gold medals. So he actually broke like 8 world records in one Olympic. That was him. In 8 different days, 8 different races. So we're talking like freestyle and breaststroke, whatever, butterfly, all of that. And he talks about his work and he says, from 99 to 06, I've never missed a single day. It's just a lot of work. He says, a lot of the days I actually didn't want to wake up from bed. I just woke up and I said, well, I actually don't really want to wake up from bed. Right? I just want to sleep. And he said, everybody that's listening to me right now, if you say that every day you wake up and you want to wake up and you want to work, you're a liar. And he's obviously but probably the best athlete ever. And even Cristiano Ronaldo, I've actually seen this clip yesterday before I slept, and he was talking about having a routine is so important. Meaning, you do the same thing every day. Because he said, look, a lot of what you do and a lot of success it's just in the boring stuff. It's not flashy. You don't get excited. And he explains it even more, and he says, when you go to the gym, I'm not always excited to go to the gym, right? I'm not excited at all to go to the gym. A lot of the times I hate going to the gym, but I go to the gym anyway, right? Even though I don't feel like going to the gym. And I think that is actually the essence of Cristiano Ronaldo's thinking. I mean, if he is the most famous person on earth, then we might also think that his work or his work ethic is pretty good. Or at least we can learn a little bit from him. So this was a little bit of books. Now I'll be talking about from first-hand personal experience with examples of work. In 2021, it was the first period where I really went all in on YouTube. It was Arabic channel, actually, Moroccan channel. In that time, I was making a lot of videos, and I was making a lot of short form videos at the time. It was crazy. And in that specific time, I was actually working or outworking everybody else, at least in the city or whatever area I was from at that point. And that gave me such a huge leverage than everybody else. So everybody was spending, let's say, 2 hours a video. I was spending 3 weeks a video. So you can just imagine how much huge and upside work I was doing that literally clears everybody off the board. Why? Because I was prepared to do a lot of work. A lot of menial work, a lot of bad work, a lot of good work. Also, I remember also like 1 or 2 years ago when my mother got sick, before she died obviously, she was teaching me how to actually take care of the house. So how to clean, how to cook, how to do this. And it was one of the first periods or areas of my life where I really realized how work works and how it's generally not about egotism. Like if you're egoistic, you cannot go to the kitchen and cook dishes and do everything that you want to do. You really can't. Why? Because it's boring and it's shit. You're dealing with the leftovers from other people, from yourself as well. You're dealing with trash. You're just cleaning, right? It's not fun. It's not exciting. It's just menial work. And I think that is sorry. And I think that is extremely important to actually understand how works. And also, I think that gives you such a huge ability. And I think a lot of the times from my personal life, just my own personal experience, first-hand experience, whenever I get to the time and people, professors, especially I'm talking higher ups, they see me being able or I am ready to do the menial work, they always trust me more. They always give me more work. They always just rely on me more. Why? Because just simply or genuinely, they know if I am ready to do the menial work, let alone the good work, I'll get that easy for me. But the menial work is the one that I enjoy. It's the one that I know nobody's gonna do, so I'm gonna do it anyway. I mean, even now, man, I just came from work. I had a graduation thesis in the morning, my presentation thesis in the morning. So I did in the morning, came back home, ate a little bit. I got my aunties in the house, so I ate lunch, and I just got myself out there. I needed a little bit of my outfit to be bought, and then traveled to the city. Then obviously I worked, and now it's almost midnight. Actually, it's 11:40. It's 11:40, and now it's time to go to sleep, to go to bed, and here I am making this video. That's work, right? I mean, I didn't even want to wear my shirt, Why? Because I just didn't. I wasn't going to wear it anyway, so why not? Why wear it? I mean, you know what it is. And even my microphone is in my glasses, so that's how I work. But the reason why I'm actually even mentioning this in the first place is work actually does work. So you really want to do that. You really want to work. You really want to work. You really want to work. Good. Now we've seen a little bit of definitions. We've seen the books. We've seen the stories. We've seen the entrepreneurs talk about it, and we've seen me from first-hand experience talking about it. I still do think that there's one component that is more important that I should actually discuss about it. I mean, it's not even one component, but it's part of it. So, what do you do for work? Let's say, oh, I'm sitting, and this is actually a billion-dollar question. I want to work right now. I want to work. I'm not working. I want to work. Good. You want to work. Okay, cool. So, what's the first step you do? The first step you do is you say what other people are needing. So let's say if someone needs, let's say someone who paints the walls. Then you are a wall painter and you learn how to paint walls or whatever, and you paint the wall, or you just improvise and paint the wall anyway. So that is what giving value is, or helping other people in a certain way. Now, the reason why I didn't want to use these terms because it's too vague. A lot of people say, oh, actually working is helping other people. Well, is it actually? Because when you think about it, it's not really helping people. It's actually providing value. Now, I think the actual $1 billion question, or in this case, $1 trillion question, is what value is. Value is absolutely subjective. And here I'm going to give you an example. Value to some people is, let's say, money. I give you money, that's a lot of value. For some people, it's a good word. For some people, it's transportation. For some people, it's food. For some people, it's shelter. For some people, it's cold and or whatever, hot weather, whatever. Why? Because it depends on what you need. So value is actually responding to what other people needs. Now, if you really want to understand what needing is, needing is the difference between your current situation and the normal situation or the optimal situation. So let's say you don't have money. That's the difference between your situation and the normal situation, which is having money, or the optimal situation, which is having a lot of money, as an example. So in this case, you need money. So the value will be to you is to get the money. Now, for this sake of the argument that we're talking about, obviously getting the money is providing other people value. So, with this being said, I think probably you should probably rewatch this video again and again until working becomes like second nature to you. You don't even think about it, you just work day and night like me right now. After a long day, you work anyway, because that's what man does. And obviously, you have to be humble to do things that probably nobody is willing to actually do, and obviously do it right as well. So watch this video again and again until this becomes like a second nature to you, like an unconscious mind to you. Subscribe.